Yeah, one game left. Well, until we get to the NFL games, so one
Yeah.
college game left, and that is a big clash in the state of Florida. Miami goes to Florida State. Florida State is looking to bounce back after a tough loss, but Miami is favored by 4.5 on the road. Initial thoughts on this game, guys?
Don't sleep on the Seminoles.
Okay.
This is, I just think Vegas has done a brilliant job and not overblowing this. This is something Vegas does really good on, but I don't. I can actually let me see if I can get the numbers on my offshore site. I would imagine 85% of the public is all over Miami minus 4.5 this week. Because what have they done this season? They have proven in pretty much every game that they are just outright dominant. They're better. They've beaten Notre Dame, beaten Florida, albeit in both close games at home. But where's Miami's strength? Rush defense. They're the sixth best, I think, from like an actual just like a statistic perspective. But they've also faced Notre Dame and faced Florida.
Yeah.
And they faced USF, like who is also a great running team as well. So that number can be kind of blown out a little bit. But they are kind of inarguably one of the best rush defenses in the country. What is Florida State's kind of only option offensively? Run the damn ball. And so that strength just kind of immediately swings towards Miami. But I wouldn't sleep on the cinnamon rolls. I think home field advantage plays a drastic role in this game. I think Doak Campbell Stadium, the newly renovated Doak Campbell Stadium, is going to play a big role in this game. It did in the Alabama game, I'd argue, and I think it will this Miami game. I think we've already quickly just like cleaned the slate on Carson Beck in big games because we've seen him twice in prime time against Notre Dame and Florida, and he's played well. But are we sure that's not the Carson Beck from last year that doesn't necessarily play well in some of these big-time spots, especially on the road? I think the book is still out there. It's not written yet. And I think Florida State's going to be able to find a way to run the ball against this Miami team. And I love what Vegas has done with the spread. It opened at 6.5 and immediately got bet down to 4.5. And I just want to throw out there immediately before we even get deeper. This Florida State has a chance in this game more than people think.
Sure.
Because I would imagine, like I said, 85% of the public is all over Miami in this game.
Yeah, it is interesting. Like Florida State's biggest strength plays right into Miami's biggest strength. But I kind of trust Gus Malzahn to have enough wrinkles and the fact that Castellanos can run better than the some of the other quarterbacks Miami has played in terms of C.J. Carr, for example. They weren't necessarily he scampered some, but true freshman first start. You're not necessarily going out there.
Redshirt freshman, right?
Yeah, redshirt freshman. But first start, like you're not
Yeah.
going to send him out there, just letting him QB power, run all this stuff. So I think they'll find some success running, but I don't think they're going to find consistent success. Now, the reason I do think the game may be close is because I think the Miami offense may be a little overrated currently, and this could be a big prove me wrong spot. But it's like against Florida and against Notre Dame, they didn't necessarily come out and drop high points. It wasn't very consistent. I have liked what I've seen from Carson Beck and Tony and C.J. Daniels in that passing attack, but I don't necessarily know if I trust them enough and their consistency to really pull away from Florida State, if that makes sense. So I do feel like there's some, Miami's kind of unbeatable here. This is going to be a blowout. And so I kind of agree, JP, that isn't necessarily, that's a bit of an overreaction. Your thoughts, Sanders?
Yeah, so just looking, Florida State ranks 4th in yards per rush and 8th in yards per pass and 48th in time of possession. So they're like a big play offense, right? They're 5th in points per game, so they're scoring a lot of points, but they're doing it really, really fast. Can they maintain that high pace consistently against this Miami defense with two elite edge rushers in Ruben Bain and then also Akeem Messidor. I wonder, like, I don't have his stats put up. I have his PFF grade. Akeem Messidor's got a 91.4 PFF grade, and he's like not even the guy. Like Ruben Bain is the guy on that D line. So how does that D line look against Florida State? And then also Miami's running game with Mark Fletcher could be really good, but I will be interested to see Miami dominates time of possession, almost 60%. What is it going to look like? Are we going to see Florida State minute and a half drive and then Miami turn around and have like a 6-minute drive? And then are we just going to see like two very different offensive styles dueling back and forth and we end up with like a big shootout, but a game where you're like, this is watching two very different styles of play on both sides of the offense?
Yeah, that's fair. And it's a good point, too, because I talked about I don't expect Florida State to be able to run the ball consistently, but they really have been an explosive offense. So as long as those don't get snuffed out, obviously you'd like to be consistent, but even if you don't find the consistency, you can just find those big plays, you have a chance.
Yeah.
I will say if they struggle to run the ball and Castellanos has to pass a ton, I think that's how this game gets ugly because I think he's going to turn the ball over a couple times.
Yeah, sure.
It's just not what they want him to do. It's not what he's comfortable with. They want to run the ball to set the pass and hit those explosive pass plays to Deuce Robinson. But if he just has to constantly sit back in 3rd and long, I think you're going to find trouble. Any other thoughts on this game, or do you want to pick it?
Let's pick it.
Yeah, let's pick it.
Okay. JP, you've already picked it up there, I see, so I'll let you go first.
I think Florida State's got a good chance in this game, but it's really hard for me to take them. Just what we've seen with Miami through 4 games, they've just been the more complete team, and the fact that in my opinion, when you have a strength on strength, in this case you have Florida State's offensive ability to run the ball, and Miami's ability to stop the run. I think more often than not, the strength goes to the defense. And when you have, in Florida State's case, such a true weakness and ability to throw the ball to where they can't really throw any other punch than an overhand right, I just think it's going to lean towards Miami more often than not. So I'm going to take Miami to cover, but Florida State to win.
Okay. I'm also going to take Miami to cover. I do think it'll be decently close. But if there's a team I trust, which is weird because I actually really don't like Mario Cristobal as a late-game coach, but I just think the makeup of their team is something that I trust a lot more in the 4th quarter or down the stretch. So I'm going to take Miami to cover.
I'm going to pick another underdog. I'm going to pick Florida State to cover. And because it doesn't hurt, I'm going to pick them to win.
Okay.
So I've now picked 3 underdogs: Mississippi State, Vanderbilt, Houston, and Florida State. So 4 underdogs out of 6 picks to cover and win. So
this could be another bad week for Sanders and a big week for me and JP.